Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so getting out the house, man. Sunday, so you know I gotta be back here by 4:30 for Bible study, which I'm looking very much forward to. And so right now I'm walking down to go take some change and go turn it into whatever dollar amount it could be, because it's starting to pile up into my bag, creating a lot of heaviness for one of the carry bags. So it's like I can turn some of that into folding stuff and kill two birds with one stone, because I do have a little bit of a financial thing that I got to deal with. My boy T hit me up a couple of days ago and told me essentially that the storage unit that we have our stuff in needs to be paid. They're talking about auctioning everything in there. You can't take nothing out of it right now till they get their money. So basically, if I don't come up with my half of it, my stuff is gone. Now, I'm not gonna say he did anything wrong in any way, because at the end of the day, he was trying to get a hold of me weeks ago, and he was calling me from a number that I thought was a bad number, so I blocked it. So he did try to give me plenty enough time to try to come up with it. But it's one of those situations where this past weekend, he was able to reach out to my boy Joe to connect with me, to let me know that he needed to contact me, and that the number that he was calling me from was not one I knew. Turned out I had blocked the number, etc., etc. So that was my fault, I think. Well, I mean, it just is what it is. I usually block numbers. If you spam me from a number I don't know, I'm blocking it, because I get so many spam calls. So it just is the nature of that. And he wasn't able to reach me, man. I thought he still had the same number. All that stuff was as it was. So make a long story short, there's some things in that storage that are pretty damn important to the both of us. You know, for him, it's some of his mother's things, I believe it is. Some other stuff that he's had that he's been trying to keep a hold of. Probably some other things that are in there as well. And for me, it's my art. It's my art. 8,000 sheets of paper. Some pictures of my mother as well. Some stuff that I couldn't carry with me is in that storage, and my weights are in there. Of course, you guys know a lot of stuff had to be given away. You know, when I got evicted, some of my most important stuff, like my bed and all that's been gone. I didn't get a chance to store that, but my art is in there, and I can't get to it until we pay that thing off. And they're gonna start selling our stuff. They're gonna lock us out of it on Wednesday if we can't come up with the money. I can't give him all of the money, nor do I feel comfortable calling my family to ask for more money, since they fork over so much for me as is. I don't want to ask them to give me more this week to fix this problem. I really don't. It ain't worth it to me. As strange as that sounds, some of that art is probably worth 10 times that, to be honest with you. If I could actually sell it and get my name off the ground as an artist, that art can be sold for enough to probably buy that whole storage unit. But truth of the matter is, I got digital copies of everything. So for what it's worth, it's not all lost if for some reason they dump it, which they likely would. So that part probably is the most important part for me. That, and of course pictures of my mother and some stuff in there that is from nostalgic purposes, baby pictures and stuff like that I left in storage to try to hold on to. So what I'm gonna do is try to scrounge together what I can put together, because I committed $150 to doing this. But it turns out that I had overestimated my budget rather, and didn't leave myself enough to take care of what's necessary until the 7th, when GR will be paying me again. So what I'm trying to do is try to scrounge together at least 100 to give to him. He said it probably wouldn't be enough, but at least I can do my part, and hopefully he will be able to get the rest somewhere else. But you know, I'm in a space where I did over budget. I told him I'd be able to do more than I actually would be able to feasibly accomplish. So what I'm trying to do is try to put together a little more than that. Try to get my piggy bank money, put that together, couple with everything that I've saved over the last couple of weeks, and then just take the rest of the 100 out of the GR fund, and try to leave myself enough in that GR fund to at least carry me to the 7th. So, you know, unexpected financial situations can be a little frustrating, especially with me having bought shoes these last 2 months. You know, I was looking forward to being able to finally have a little money in my pocket and not be really budgeting hard for this particular month. Not to mention that we had that little bit of a snag with my SSI. Not SSI, that's been rejected, as you guys know. I ain't heard nothing from them since. But as far as the food thing, that the people that provide the food stamps and all of that, they of course gave me hell last week about my SARS, which is the update for how much you've made for a certain 6 months period. They need to know exactly if there's anything changed or anything like that. And I had a little snag with that. As I told you guys, I was sitting there in the sun for like an hour on my phone trying to submit the paperwork, and I ain't heard nothing back from the caseworker on whether or not all that stuff got done in time. I submitted everything he asked for. I gave it to him in 7 different ways. So hopefully I won't have a snag come September. August, they've already committed to. They're definitely going to give me my money for next month. And I have what I have right now, take care of this month. But come September, if that situation didn't get taken care of, it could be a real snag on me getting my food benefits, as to which I would need my GR money to pay for my food for that month. Or I would be kind of screwed and would be forced to ask my family to give me money. So this is money. This month I was hoping I could start saving up for the possibility of that snag hitting. So this is a real problem for me, having to do this. But it is what it is, man. I just know that it's my responsibility for me to pay off some of this storage fee to help us both out. And it's just what came with the situation. So I really thank my boy T for allowing me to store my stuff this long. I thought I would be able to get it out by now. Thought that SSI would come through and save the day, but they rejected that as predicted. And because I haven't been able to get my mail and stuff like that, I really haven't been able to see about the appeal process. I did appeal, but of course they don't contact you in no other way but through the mail. So if you can't get your mail, so you really don't know what's going on with the situation. So I haven't checked, man. I ain't checked it. I just assumed they'd rejected it. And so all of that has just kind of been something I ain't really wanted to deal with, along with a lot of anything else that provided stress. I just ain't want to deal with it at all. I think that's part of the problem, or that is the crux of the problem, as we've been dealing with in therapy. And so, this is just one more thing that's been a little stressful for me, having to, deal with this process of trying to get this money for storage. Not nearly as stressful as it's been for my boy T, because he's dealing with it on multiple fronts, and dealing with the whole, trying to get the money from everybody and shit. So I wanted, him to know that I'm not disappointed on my end that my stuff could be in jeopardy. I'm not. That shouldn't be something that adds to his stress because my stuff is in there. If I cared enough about that stuff, I would have made more plans to assure that I got it out of there sooner. I just have had that be on the last forefront of my mind, and I've really appreciated that he's been able to take care of that storage fee. So far be it from me to be not pleased in any way in regards to the situation. It's just part of the reality, man. And I suppose he would be upset if I were to be upset, because he ain't never asked me for no payment for that thing until now, for which is dire. So for me, I just wish I would have had it to give, It's really what it comes down to. But all in all, in this point, I just say that I can scrounge together what I can and give it to him tomorrow. And for the betterment of everything that's in there that matters to us both, hopefully it's enough to get it out. Hopefully he's able to find the money in another way too, so he can finish paying these people off by Wednesday and can keep the stuff in there that matters to us, But, for me personally, just my own thing in regards to my own selfish aspect of it, a lot of stuff is out of sight, out of mind, man. If it's in storage, I ain't had access to it in a year. Like I said, my art matters to me, but I ain't got no plans of selling it. It's just a heavy thing. that has to be dealt with in some way. So I'd imagine if something happened to me, they would just throw it away any damn way. So it's kind of like, my weights mean a lot to me because I was able to get some of my best definition off of those weights, but they can be repurchased. That's not it. That's not the end of the world. Those are 25-pound, 30-pound weights. Be repurchased. And pictures of my mother, a lot of that stuff. Like I said, I ain't had no access to it, man. I ain't, if I cared more, I got it out. That's the way I look at it. Some of that stuff just, it only matters if it matters to me. And if I'm not stressing about it, then it's nobody here to tell me I need to. That's that kind of thing. So it's like, if I were to have children, maybe I'd have more of an interest in making sure that those pictures get preserved. But as far as I can tell, that path is not in reality for me. So it's like, it's really only about me. I'm not going to guilt trip myself about stuff. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. So I'm praying that I don't regret if things get lost in this situation, if they sell all my stuff or throw it all the way out. I pray that God makes it so that the way I feel right now is the same way I'll feel in every other day after this in regards to those things, because they're not in my life right now and haven't been for the last 11 months. And most of the stuff that really mattered to me as well, outside of what I was able to store, is already gone. It is already gone. Beds and stuff like that, towels and things that I was using on a daily basis, plates and stuff like that. Stuff was already, unfortunately, had to be left behind any damn way. So what I have on me is what I've been using every day. Things in my life that I have right now are on my person. Some of the pictures of my mother and baby picture stuff, some of that's here with me. So it's not completely gone. So, it's like I don't know what else is in that storage. I forget what else is in there. But whatever it is, it ain't been a part of my life over the last year. So the best case scenario, we able to keep it in the storage, only for us to probably have this problem again next month. You know what I mean? So it's rather expensive keeping that stuff together, and if it's time to move on from it, I'm praying that the Lord will allow me to do that without regretting it. Because at this point, I'm gonna do what I can, but I'm not throwing a fit or gonna lose any sleep over not having that stuff anymore. Just not. So that's my point of view, man. I hope everybody's having a good day. I wanted you guys to know what's going on. This has been kind of looming for the last week. I ain't really talked about it on this camera because, to be honest with you, I really didn't want to address it at all. It ain't something that's been stressing me because of the fact that I would have to fork over the money, not necessarily about losing anything. If I'm being completely honest with you, it's more stressful having to commit a certain amount that I know I don't have than it is to actually lose the stuff that's in there. But at the end of the day, this is the reality of the circumstance. And just like anything else, you just deal with it. So this is me dealing with it, man. Walking out here, try to take as much of this coins. Hopefully it's a lot. It feels like it's heavy enough that it should at least give me about $40, something like that. And then, go back to Target and get the rest out at the ATM and give it to him tomorrow. Meet him somewhere and give it to him tomorrow. And hopefully that can soften the blow a little bit for the finances or buy us some time if they're willing. I think they want them to fork over everything by Wednesday. And so that's just really what it is, man. That's the situation. I don't like the circumstance because I initially told them that I would be able to give him 150 and over budgeted. So that's what's really been stressing me. It's like, man, I really don't want to give him 150 because that's going to leave me without the ability to buy certain things that I really genuinely need for the rest of the month. And I just didn't think that when I committed to it, I didn't think that was just, it was, but I had already purchased a few things I should have known better, you know what I mean? And now if this was on, and not only that, but if it were further into the month, like if this was like the 22nd or the 23rd, I feel a hell of a lot better because the 7th is about to roll around soon. Right now, it's like, what, the 14th? I mean, I just got paid 7 days ago. I'm going to wait about another basically 21 days. So it's like that. I can't be walking around with little to nothing for 21 days this month. Not with what I have going on. that would be what the 150 would ultimately do. So, you know, it is what it is, man. I just think that, you know, this is something that I have to question myself about, because like, it's not just my stuff in there, it's his too. The urgency shouldn't be just about me. And you know, I was appreciative of the fact that he was very unselfish with me in regards to allowing me to use his storage. So that's been part of the problem too. It's just trying to find it in my heart to be a lot more urgent about his stuff and how my efforts can help him keep his things, you know what I mean? So that's definitely part of the stress of the situation. You know, it's easy to be selfish when you only have yourself to worry about 24/7, which is what my lifestyle has really been about. You know, selfishness to a degree is part of the issue. And so trying to be unselfish is something that not only comes with an idea, but it also comes with certain actions and sacrifices that one has to do in order to effectively be unselfish. And so I've been having dreams about my selfishness and thoughts about that, and been praying about that. And so, you know, hopefully the Lord will allow me to display a much better sense of urgency for that of other people's stuff, because at the end of the day, I'm isolated most of the damn time. I really don't have to consider too many other people other than myself. And you know, I've been given a lot too. So that is you know, it's like, okay, yeah, I've dealt with what I've dealt with, but there's also some things that have to be considered when trying to be a better human being that I need to help myself to, you know, help myself toward doing that. So, you know, we try, man. I try to weigh that aspect of my personality against my willingness to get on this channel and speak about things that, you know, other people won't speak about, the genocide and all that. That's how I look at it. It's like, I may be falling short in some real areas in my life as a human being, but maybe I can weigh that against my willingness to be unselfish with topics, weigh that against my willingness to you know, put what's going on in that circumstance first. You know what I mean? Rather than just talking about everything I like to talk about and then protecting myself like a lot of people doing, from whatever comes with being silent, you know, or whatever comes with being vocal about such a controversial reality. But you know, I think that's part of it for me. It's like I fall short in some areas, but I try to aim high in others. So it is what it is, man. But I'm not ducking the reality of the circumstance. I am going to try to provide some of what will help the situation. And now it's just up to T to try to find the rest of it. You know what I mean? That's literally the circumstance right now. That's what it is, unfortunately. And so I said a lot of prayers leading up to this situation, about the situation. And I think it's in God's hands at this point. I don't know if I can say anything else about it. So it is what it is, man. That art, like I said, I don't find myself having the urgency to keep that art as much as probably should be there. When you consider how much effort I put into making the stuff, how much it could be sold for, how many people have already expressed like for some of those pieces that are in that storage. There should be more of an urgency to keep that stuff, but I don't know. It's just not. It's not there. It's not urgent to me as it should be. I will make this effort, but it's not like I'm calling my family saying, "Yo, my art's about to be gone. Make sure you give me this so I can keep it." I just, for whatever strange reason, I really don't have the urgency to keep the art for that type of focus, you know, or whatever the word would be, with that type of urgency. It just ain't that important to me to keep that specific thing. And there's a lot of pieces there too, but it is that is not a priority as it should be. So I don't know, man. I don't really know. I guess the reality of benefiting from such things aren't real to me. Like, you can really sell this art for this, that, and the third. It just that don't feel real. That does not feel real to me. And I think that's part of the problem. You just lose hope that certain things are going to be the best case scenario in regards to what you create. You just make and you stack. You make and you stack. That's kind of how I am about art. It's not like one day I'm going to sell all this and it's going to pay my way. Like, nah, you just work, stack, set it to the side, share it when it's time to share it. And that's kind of the reality of it, because anything else just doesn't feel real to me. It feels like I'm likely going to be walking into some arenas that are going to make me more uncomfortable than they are going to make me rich, if that makes any sense when it comes to selling art. And so I just haven't thought to do so. But it is what it is, man. Like I said, the urgency should be to help keep my friends' stuff. That's really the urgency. And so that's what I'm giving it, man. That's why I'm walking down here to do what I got to do. So it is what it is, man. These are the type of things in life that you just wish you could like fast forward past this. It's not that big a deal, but because of the way I process stress, it makes my life not good when I'm dealing with stuff like this. But you know, I think that's the nature of the world we're in. Everybody has to deal with stress. My boy T's stress is so much heavier than mine is in regards to this conversation. But like I said, I don't deal with it very productively at this point. And so any small amount just feels like it mounts on my back like it's a lot. And it ain't. It really ain't. But I suppose that's what happens when you coddle yourself for a long time. You know? Coddling your mind and protecting yourself from different things that otherwise are uncomfortable or stressful for you. When you do feel anything that is stressful, it can make you weak. You can be weak toward it, rather. So I think that's a little bit of what it is, man. I'm trying to avoid certain things that are stressful, trying not to return back to some of my most deeply stressful feelings, like I felt when I first got over here, and when I felt when my mother was sick and dying. Like, those are things that's like, all right, if I can avoid anything that feels like that ever again, I'm gonna do that. And as a result, you don't get any stronger in dealing with those things when they do pop up. Just like I always say about being fat and happy, it's the same idea. You fat and happy and you're not on your toes. You're not addressing circumstances that would otherwise make it so that you would be desperate. You know, you don't respect desperation in a lot of cases when you've been eating and you're sitting back and you're on top of the world. And then when you do fall, you fall 10 times harder than for someone who's used to going through that type of thing. So it's the same idea, the same exact idea. Just been fat and happiness, and that's really what it is, fat in happiness. And then you go through a little stress and you're like, all right, this sucks, in a different type of way. But you know, all in all, I just felt like venting that out. This is not something I like to talk about too much in my own little situations anymore. I more so like to talk about what's going on in the world, because it's so much bigger and it's so much more dire, and people are going through so much more than I could ever even deal with. So, you know, I encourage everybody to pay attention to what's going on in Gaza and Khan Yunis, and go back and watch some of these therapy sessions where I haven't been talking about myself, but have been talking about that, because those are the most important ones to me. And as far as my stuff in storage, well, I mean, I ain't had that stuff in my life, so I'm not going to sit up here and cry over something that's not around in my life, you know? We'll do what we can to try to keep it, and if it ain't enough, then it ain't enough. You know, and that'll just be how the story went for my art. At least 8,000 pieces of it. And pictures of my mother and stuff like that I wanted to hold on to, but not really toward a specific purpose. So it is what it is, man. It's up to God now. It's up to the rest of our friends who are going to chip in, try to help us. T is going to call in some favors, see if he can get that from some people, and if we can keep stuff, cool. But I'm able to do what I'm going to be able to do, and that's all I can do. It's unfortunate, it's frustrating, but that's really what it is. So that's pretty much what I'm gonna give it, man. Just wanted to get a video out in regards to that situation, let everybody know what's going on, and we'll deal with it. Video 44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.